Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Dancing inside. Good morning. It's Monday. It's early. It's the West Coast, and we are Run It Back. And look who's here. Danny, all week.
All week.
Danny Green is here all week.
I appreciate you guys having me.
We love this. Lou Will, as always, moves over a seat. You get real wordy in this seat, and we love this for you. No, you did. I like it. I'm here for it. And Shams Charania joining us from his palace in Chicago, Illinois. And you've got some info for us today, and I'm excited about it because the first story of the morning, it took place on Saturday. But man, did it produce some laughter for me anyways. Ime Udoka ejected in the fourth after jawing with LeBron James. LeBron also got teed up for this one. According to Udoka, quote, "We had some conversation and they, the refs, didn't like what they heard." And so, of course, the speculation began immediately. What did they hear, guys? Your best guess is what?
Well, the audio's been leaked now.
Well, now it's been, but when you first saw it, like, what are you thinking? What are the words, the magic words that you can't?
It's about three.
Yeah.
It's about three words that are off limits, that are fighting words, and two of them were used last night. So kudos to LeBron for keeping this cool. I think that was the one time I would have enjoyed to kind of see LeBron lose it a little bit and show that side of his personality with the things that were being said. But that was interesting.
I mean, they were beating them pretty good. They were up 15-20 at the time, so there was no reason for him to lose his cool.
Fair.
I think they both, just the monotone, the mannerisms, it didn't seem very aggressive.
No,
the talk
smiling.
was aggressive enough. But, me and Lou, we played partially in some of the old school type of basketball. I think the texts are given out too quickly. I like to see that. I think the fans want to see that. I think tossing a guy for talking a little trash, even though they are words that you shouldn't be saying, I still think talking trash should be allowed or okay in our league amongst grown men.
I mean, okay, so let's just, first of all, you know what, let's get to Shams, because I do have questions, thoughts, when it comes to certain words that seem to trigger people more than others. I love the fact that they're very calm. It's almost terrifying when someone's calm and talking smack at the same time. But we did see a coach get ejected, Shams. It was very bizarre to watch. What's the impact of what happened on Saturday?
Well, I think terrifying is the right word. When someone is that animated without having any real, you didn't see any real tension with them. Like, you didn't see them go chest to chest. You didn't see them go at it. You didn't think it would escalate physically. So that does make it a little terrifying that they were able to say what they were able to say in that way. But I think for Ime Udoka, this is a guy that has called his team out for their physicality, their smash mouth basketball. Like, that's something that he's brought to that organization. When you think about the last few years in Houston, it has not gone well. They've been the bottom-dwelling team in the NBA. So you bring in Ime Udoka to bring in a culture, and what he's brought is physicality, defense, and I think even though they're 8-9 right now, they're playing much better. They're playing harder than they have in past seasons, and I think everyone in Houston is crediting Ime Udoka for their start, and I do believe he moves the needle that much. When you talk to people around the Celtics in that locker room, they really believe they would have won the championship last year with Ime Udoka as their head coach, but obviously he departed, and now he's in Houston.
No, we got to call a spade a spade. This is a team that's ranked 10th in the West right now. So, listen, it got to just match up. The words, the attitude, the physicality, all of those things that Shams is saying he's credited for, the record has to match up.
They're trying.
How hard? So look, again, we're talking about the Houston Rockets again based on things that have nothing to do with basketball once again. So the games and all the talk and the tough stuff, it got to start matching up for me.
Do you think they're doing better than last year?
Yes.
So I think that's something to be
by a pinch of salt.
Okay. It's still early, but I think they're doing better than last year. I think the culture's changing a little bit, bringing Fred, bringing Dylan, and Ime. And you have a lot of young guys with potential, a lot of talent. It's not gonna happen. Even San Antonio, I thought they would be a heap better. They're still struggling at the bottom. Things can change in a year. So much can happen. Even Memphis, I thought they would still be better, even with the injuries and certain guys being out. But
just shut up, then.
100%.
Just shut up.
And play basketball.
Yeah, we don't want this team to be known for the wrong type of things. Getting better, put more pieces to that puzzle where they can progressively get better and better under his leadership. But again, we're talking about this team for the wrong reasons, and I would like for it to be basketball related at some point.
I mean, we are talking about the coach, though. That's a little different.
Starts at the top.
Getting thrown out for chirping.
I'm a former teammate of Ime. I know him.
He's a former player, so he's sometimes he goes back into that mode. I think that's why he started talking a little bit.
I kind of loved it,
Bron.
though. Have you had words with coaches? Is that a thing?
Not me personally.
I don't think we personally ever had. I've never had. I mean, you may have in practice with your own coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've seen it. I've seen it with other coaches. I thought it was kind of funny. I played in the D League before it was before it was the G League. I was in the D League, and I had the coach of the name of Eric Musselman. And
sure.
If anybody knows Muss, he's a firecracker. He's a little guy that'll get after you, and I've seen him talk some good trash to some opponents. And I think it was. Ime was light compared to what Eric
Really?
would yes, some of the things he would say to certain guys.
Is it just that, did he get thrown out because coaches aren't allowed to chirp? I felt like it was pretty calm and mild. I mean,
I just think the referees were
were
trying to, because the situation had lingered, there was some other tension going on. I think they were just trying to control the situation. They felt they needed to toss somebody because there was a lot of other bickering going on in the game.
And again,
that point.
like we mentioned, it's a handful of words that aren't acceptable and they're fighting words, and he used a couple of them. So I think it was just probably a little overboard.
Is everybody sensitive to these same words?
Majority.
And why?
Not everybody, no.
Yeah, majority.
But
So
there's certain words some guys are not going to take. Certain things you're going to talk about their family, certain aspects of their life you're not going to be able to touch, and they're gonna let you know about it. But some guys,
you get called a bitch, it's gonna get checked.
I don't mind it.
It is gonna get checked.
Is that a man thing?
That is, yes.
Interesting. How ironic.
It's
We
not a
are
term-
the
it's not
actual
a term
bitches.
it's not just a man thing, because women do not like it as well.
I do not. I just know. It's funny to me that there are no words. Put it this way: there are no words you can call me that it's gonna trigger anything.
I said to certain people.
Yeah.
Bron kept his cool pretty well. It's not the first time he's been called it. I'm sure it won't be the
No,
last
it's
time.
not.
For sure.
But it's just a word, and certain aspects of your life you just not allow people to disrespect. And you see Russ, when fans come to him.
That's true.
Certain things they talk about, you're gonna stop it right there. Look, you're not gonna talk about this. You're not gonna call me this. It's not gonna happen today. It's something I'm gonna have to nip in the bud before it gets out of hand.
So he gets double teed up, coach does, thrown out. We have Dylan Brooks, obviously, on record numerous times trying to get under LeBron's skin. Lou, it feels like a lot of time and energy is spent from this Houston Rockets squad to get under LeBron's skin.
And that's the energy I want this team to get away from. I don't want them to be known for just being the guys that want to get under LeBron James' skin. This isn't a rivalry. They're not fighting for any playoff positions at this point. They're not in direct competition with the Lakers. And so for this to be part of their calling card and part of their MO, it gotta get nipped in the bud. It gotta stop.
And I think that's where Fred comes into play. I think Fred VanVleet is going to be the guy that keeps a steady locker room, or keep guys level-headed and not doing so much talk, but more play, more action. So that's a big reason why they signed him. So
Yeah.
I think they just need another one or two more guys like Fred to keep it more balanced. They have a lot of young guys right now. It's going to be hard to establish that this early.
And like Danny said, look, they got pieces, right? They got Jalen, Jabari. They have some young guys. The other kid,
Sengun. Yes, Sengun.
Sengun, he's
Baby
another
Jokic.
piece.
Yeah,
and you have your coach of the future. You have a lot of great things in place that can go your way. So the foolishness and all of the talk, just make it make sense.
But it was fun, though.
Definitely fun.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page of that. We also have some Shams scoops time. Some news coming out of Philly. Shams, what's the latest?
I'm told Kelly Oubre will return to the lineup likely this week. As soon as Wednesday they play against the Wizards in Washington, D.C., or he'll come back Friday when the Sixers host the Atlanta Hawks in Philadelphia. But this is a guy that's been out since November 11th with that fractured rib injury that he allegedly suffered in a hit-and-run accident. But Oubre, guys, before he went out, he was averaging over 16 points a game, 50% from the field, 38% from three. He became a key member of this rotation, key cog of this lineup. And it's like getting a trade acquisition right now. We've been talking about what is Philadelphia going to do. They have assets. What can they do in trade? I think they do like this group that they've assembled. They've got a ton of role players. And getting Oubre back a near 20-point per game scorer, they feel like will be a good acquisition for them. Could happen as soon as Wednesday.
That's good news. They're 12-7 right now, obviously without him. You were there. You've got intimate knowledge of this organization, this team. So what is his importance to the squad?
Well, I think with the trade, they've gained a lot of depth. He was the depth off the bench for them. He became a starter once the trade happened. They've been playing really well, even without him, even without some of their guys. They either had a game the other night in Boston. They were in a game that they weren't supposed to be in with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid being out. You get Nicholas Batum back, and you get Kelly Oubre back. Now you're a very deep team. You know, Marcus Morris, Robert Covington. You have a lot of 3-and-D guys that can play night in, night out and give you different type of looks. So he gives you another scoring option, of course, another spark off the bench, if not starting. But he's a guy that you're going to need, especially when things get dry.
You also, Shams, in the, oh my God, I forgot about him. You had a tweet as well about Ben Simmons. It's crazy how much we talked about him, and now it feels like we don't. But there's an injury update.
Yeah, Ben Simmons had an epidural injection in his lower back, and the hope is over the next 2 to 3 weeks, he's able to feel better and work toward a return. He's going to be reevaluated in 2 more weeks, but that's going to be shelving him for a month in total since this injury first popped up and since he initially was sidelined. There's got to be concern with that lower back. It's a nerve issue in his back. He's missed time over the last couple of years with this nerve impingement, this nerve irritation in his back. He had to have surgery in the offseason for herniated disc. So it's multiple back issues that's popping up for Ben Simmons. We know what he's done over his career, multiple all-star appearances, all defensive, runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. I know Danny played with him there, but listen, if this epidural shot injection doesn't work, I don't know, where this goes, and you have to have a level of concern. Danny played with him, so I'm very curious what his reaction is to this and just overall what we've seen from Ben Simmons.
I have a question first. I mean, I know you're not a doctor. I'm no doctor. But an epidural, for the fans that have no idea what it is, what does that actually do for the lower back? Do you have any idea, Sean?
Oh, God.
Well,
it's supposed to provide numbness. I mean,
Yes.
a
I
simple
know
Google search.
women get it when they have babies,
I was
so I
about to
don't know
say,
anything else
when they
outside
have
of that.
pregnancy.
So it's
Yeah,
not a fix, it's a pain relief.
It's a pain reliever, but it's something that clearly, if there's inflammation, if there's irritation, you have this type of shot. This isn't the first time I think an NBA player has had a shot, especially with a back injury.
Okay.
But clearly this is designed to relieve some level of pain and allow him to put himself in a position where he can rehab it.
Well, I will say that Ben looked really good early on in the season. I seen him in preseason. I saw him early in the season. He was moving well, and it's a shame that he's having this setback physically, which can affect him mentally. I think the biggest thing for him has always been the mental side of things and getting his mind and his confidence back. When you constantly have injuries and resets like this, it's hard to keep your confidence, keep your rhythm, keep your mental strong. So will he ever get back to being at all-star level? I don't know. It's going to be tough with these injuries, especially back injury. And hopefully his mental doesn't take a hit, but he looked like he was moving well early on. I would like to see him get back there, but it's going to be tough. And they have a lot of good players in Brooklyn that are playing really well, without him. So hopefully he gets back healthy and hopefully he gets back in rotation, playing some good rotational minutes. But right now they're doing pretty good without him.
Danny, I'm curious, playing with Ben Simmons when he was at his peak, and you saw the other side as well. Like, what were your conversations like with him? Like, could you guys tell in that locker room, like, this is a guy that's clearly dealing with something, not only physically but mentally?
At the time, no. It came later in the season, probably during playoff time. During the season, there was some increments of it, but during the year, he was confident. He was who he was. We had a lot of fun, and I loved playing with him. He made me look good. I shot 40 from 3, had a career high in attempts from the perimeter playing with him. I hoped he came back. The following year, he didn't. I signed back with Philly, and he didn't play, so we had to play without him. So we didn't have many conversations about it until the time of, the playoff time in the following year where he didn't want to come back. We tried to talk to him to coming back. So we did talk about it then, but we didn't have many, we didn't converse with him about it much. But you can just tell in his demeanor, his mannerisms, that he had lost a little bit of confidence in the mental side of the game. But I said earlier this year, he looked pretty good.
Guys, we have it. It's here tonight, the in-season tournament. It's back. We move forward, and it's Celtics-Pacers. We're going to do a little preview for you right here. So Celtics are sitting at 15-4. Pacers are at 10-8. This is the first game of the night. Pacers finished the in-season tournament 4-0. Celtics 3-1. Here's where we have like a headbutting situation. So Tyrese Halliburton's averaging just under 35 points a game over his last 5. Meanwhile, the Celtics have only allowed one player to score more than 30 points in a non-OT game, I think once. Yeah, one player's done it. Something has to give here. What's it going to be, Lou?
I think Celtics, they've been known to be a great defensive team. This year, they're a top 3 rated defensive group. Halliburton is doing everything he can to keep this Indiana Pacers team competitive, staying in the mix of everything. But I just like the Celtics and how they've presented themselves on the defensive end year after year. They have a balanced attack of guys that can guard Halliburton, keep fresh bodies on him, and just make it hard for him. And alone, it's hard to average 35 points.
Right.
Over the course of a season. And so for him to do that for 5 games straight, really, really impressive. But going against a top 3 rated defense with something on the line, I think it's going to be hard for him to do that tonight.
I like Indiana still scoring a lot of points. I mean, Tyrese may not get 35, but they're putting up 130 a clip as a team.
Yeah.
You know, Rick Carlisle's letting these guys, letting them loose. They're playing with great confidence, great energy, and getting up and down. So I still think Boston wins the game. If everybody's healthy, I think they hold Tyrese under 30 points. But I still think, Indiana's going to put up a high clip, at least 125 points. But Boston's going to have to outscore them. Now, if they have Drew Holiday, if they don't have Drew Holiday, that dictates a lot of their defensive rating and how they, keep Indiana within that scoring range. But I think it's going to be a game. It's going to be a really good game. I'm looking forward to watching.
Weirdly, do we get those courts? I guess we'll find out. We get the courts back, right?
Meanwhile,
Your favorite courts?
They probably get worse.
They're like even
as the game shrink down, they probably get a little worse.
Oh, God, I didn't think about they're going to add to it. Look, the Pacers lost a game to the Heat recently, and afterwards, Tyrese Halliburton had one of those moments where you say something out loud and then you quickly realize, oh, crap, I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. But he said, I'm tired of being a loser. So the mindset's there. He was also worried, though, that was going to turn into a meme and come back to haunt him. But if your leader, if the guy on the team that's doing the best has these types of words out loud, how is that a bad thing?
I see it as a positive.
Yeah.
I think he's not satisfied with what he's done himself, even though he's done all he can. And they're playing well. They have a pretty good record. I see them being a top 6-7 team in the East and being in the playoffs. So them playing this well and him still thinking that they're not doing enough, I think it says a lot in a positive way. So I enjoy watching him play, and I enjoy how he humbly carries himself within the media and his teammates in the locker room.
Yeah, and we just had this conversation with LeBron in a big loss that they had last week. Sometimes you have to say things to get your team going. And he's a young leader. He's trying to turn that corner to become, a cornerstone guy for that organization. And so I don't mind him saying this. This is motivational for everybody around.
Is he a top 5 point guard?
Absolutely.
100%.
This year he's having a coming out party. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Am I supposed to ask you who the other 4 are?
You could. It'd be tough. But
No,
you could.
because this is where it always ends up being 7 or 8 people long, and we're getting there. We're going to figure this out. Shams, I'm weirdly excited about tonight and tomorrow's games. What's the one thing you're looking for in this matchup?
Well, I think for sure how the Celtics play without Porzingis. He's going to be out tonight. So, Danny, to your point, Drew Holiday is supposed to be available tonight to play. Kristaps Porzingis still out with that calf sprain. This is really a week-to-week injury for them. But Kristaps Porzingis, their third best player. Anytime you get a guy like that who can come in as your third, fourth option on any given night, that's a great get for the Celtics. And so he's going to be out tonight. But to me, this is clearly setting up to be, you have the Final Four. You have this Final 8 grouping right now. Like, how much March Madness energy are we going to get? Like, are we going to get an upset? I think if the Pacers win tonight, I think a lot of people would be surprised. I think there's a lot of expectation. The Celtics, when you go into this season, this is a team that can be a dual champion. You win the in-season tournament, then you win the NBA championship. So what happens with the Celtics tonight and the Pacers? There's a legitimate, I think, upset chance, especially with this game being on the road for the Celtics.
Well, with that new information, I got the Pacers winning tonight.
Okay, we just changed it. We're back.
Yeah, I got the Pacers. Because I just don't see Boston outscoring Indiana without Porzingis.
Why? What are they missing now?
We're missing rim protection and a 20-point scorer.
20 points is
If you're
good.
missing 20 points and rim protection, and Indiana, the way they're playing at that pace, they're going to still put up 100. I don't see Boston.
Are we disrespecting Al Horford, or what are we doing?
I respect Al Horford. I just don't think he's enough to stop Indiana from scoring 126 points per game, which they average, I think.
I'm gonna go against the grain and say I still like Boston. I like any
Really?
Jason Tatum-led team. And listen, we just said it. This guy, he's tired of being a loser.
He is.
So mentally they're motivated, but they're also going through their struggles. They're going through their ups and downs of a season, and I feel like Boston is pretty much where they've always been, top 4 team, and so I still like Boston there.
Got another game tonight, the West Coast game. It's Pelicans at the Kings. Kings, of course, won their spot 4-0. Pelicans were 3-1 in their in-season tournament play, but the Kings are 0-2 against this Pelicans team. But those were both games in New Orleans. They get to actually host tonight, where they are 6-2. Will the beam be lit tonight, Lou?
The beam will be lit tonight. This is a group that plays really well at home. And Sacramento has a great fan base. Don't be mad at me, guys.
Here we go.
Listen,
It's a great fan base.
I love Sacramento. Great fan base. And so this is a team that feeds off the energy of their crowd a lot. It feels like they play faster when they're at home. They play more relaxed, more comfortable in that building. And so I feel like this is a great opportunity for them to get a win at the crib.
I agree. I'm about to go. The beam is going to be lit tonight. They're playing extremely well at home. They also fight for longer at home. You know, I feel like on the road, a team like that, I'm going to say they're really young, but they are a younger side. And if a team goes up with a 10 or 15 point lead, they'll probably, shut it down. But you seen them the other night. They were down 22-24 to Golden State. They still fought back. I can see them, regardless of any situation of what they get down against any team in that building, they have a fighting chance. And I don't see them going down 22-24 to New Orleans by halftime. But they're playing extremely well. And De'Aaron Fox is leading it. Sabonis is playing well. Malik Monk off the bench has been unbelievable. So it's going to be a fun game. But I think the beam will be lit tonight.
I like Malik for Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it now.
Okay, we're saying it's December.
Coming
Very
from the
beginning
sixth
of
man,
December.
guys.
I like that. Yeah, that
holds a lot of weight.
As a fan, I like to think that we play a part in some of these moments, these big playoff atmosphere type situations. But do they? Is there a big difference? Like, what do you hear? What does it feel like? What's
It's just
different?
energy. It's just energy. It's a feeling when you come out of that tunnel and the majority of everybody that's there, they're there in support of you. Your family is there. The crowd is there. You probably have the T-shirts. And so it's just a vibe that you can't get on the road. Me personally, I was a guy that enjoyed playing on the road because I wanted to play the role of the villain. I wanted to keep everybody quiet. But home court advantage is definitely a real thing, especially when you have an excited crowd that's itching for some success. And this Sacramento team has been getting them what they need, having that playoff run last year and now building on that. This is an excited fan base, and so that definitely makes a difference.
It's weird to be this excited about a game on Monday and
It is, yeah. Tuesdays and Thursdays, random days during the week.
I know.
But the league has done a great job of making these games special and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I said it's kind of like playoff type atmosphere where when you walk in the building, the lights seem brighter. The court seems warmer. You guys are just feeling it, and it feels like that type of atmosphere. So it's fun. They're competing for something. And a lot of these guys, some of the younger guys, it can change their lives or change their year. So, yeah, something to look forward to, bonuses, and they get to go to Vegas, enjoy a different city.
Love that.
They don't tax you there as much, so
Yep, love
they'll
that
be
too.
collecting a lot more of their check doing that. And have some fun playing some good basketball where, the gamblers can kind of trying to predict the point differential.
This is going to be good. The Pelicans have won some games over some pretty good teams this season so far. The Zion Ingram of it all, Shams. What have you seen growth-wise from the two of them playing together?
You're starting to see them play cohesively. I think this is the best Zion Williamson we've seen since he's gotten in the NBA. And that's just not from a statistical perspective. I think the way he's playmaking, embracing playing point guard, he's spending a lot of time on the ball, facilitating, and serving as the lead playmaker. When you look at and you compare it to how the Pelicans started the year, he spent the majority of his minutes playing in the mid-post, in the high post, setting screens, playing a lot more inside. But this is a guy in Zion Williamson who can dominate with the ball in his hands, can get to the paint when you need to, but he's very dynamic in the way he plays. And I think one thing we can't overlook, Trey Murphy III got back in the lineup on Friday. He had 18 points, 4 threes. They're very high on him in New Orleans. I think this guy has a chance to be possibly the third best player by the end of the year behind Zion and Brandon Ingram.
And then the CJ McCollum, I know things are heading in the right direction, looking much, much better than they were. What's his availability for this team?
CJ McCollum is a full go. He's been playing back in their lineup. He obviously, for him, it's a different role that he's coming back into. He started the year as a point guard for the Pelicans. I think now that he's back in the lineup, he's been playing off the ball, and this is similar to his role that he played in Portland, playing next to Dame Lillard, playing off the ball a lot more, spot-up shooter. And the Pelicans need his shooting. Getting his shooting, Trey Murphy's shooting, those are two big-time shooters back in the Pelicans lineup that can only give Ingram and Zion Williamson more support.
We like that role for him?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I like point Zion. There was a time where Zion did play point a little bit
So
before.
weird.
But I think it's just, I think he's playing his best basketball because he's just more available. He looks healthier. He looks in better shape. And he's still getting in better shape. But the chemistry, it looks pretty good. He's taking on, I guess, the role or what they're asking him to do.
I didn't want to say it, but he looks good because we're watching him play.
Yes,
He's always been a talented basketball player, but he's available. So there you go.
I always feel like I'm walking on eggshells when we talk about Zion because I don't want to jinx anything. I want him to play the entire season. I want us to enjoy him the entire season. So I'm just sort of like, shh.
Amen.
Well,
We're not going to talk too much.
We're a quarter of a way there.
I know.
And we got some good
It's
basketball
working.
out of it.
It's good. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back from the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's Georges Niang, bright and early on Run It Back.
Run it back, yeah.
There he goes.
Run it up.
George, you found your corner, didn't you?
Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up.
All right, there he is in the corner that he found. Georges Niang, 8-year NBA vet from Cleveland. He is here, and we are going to start the show, George. First of all, thank you for the early time. Nicknames.
Yeah.
Minivan? So that's a Donovan Mitchell creation. Why? What is that?
No, I mean, so when I was fighting my way to make it in this league, as we all know, I wasn't in the rotation. I had an opportunity to get in at the end of the game, and I had like a wide open dunk, and I went up there and, kind of like laid it in. And, I got to the locker room, and I think it was like Joe Ingles, Donovan Mitchell were like, well, what the heck was that? And I was like, listen, I know you guys are like Ferrari engines.
Wow.
I'm more like a minivan. I need a couple laps around the block if I get the top speed. And then they're making T-shirts with my head out the window of a minivan.
I hate to say it, George.
I mean-
That's how it started?
It fits.
Do you like it?
It's fitting. It's fitting.
Has it turned into any sort of money-making opportunity for? I mean, there are a lot of minivan companies, I guess, right?
Hey, let me tell you this. You put anything on a sweatshirt or a T-shirt and sell it, you can make some money these days.
It's a great point.
A minivan company would love to get an NBA player
Yes.
endorsement. We got to get you a
Hey
minivan.
Lou, we could cook something up right now.
We got to get you a minivan, brother.
Okay, I love the idea of nicknames. Lemon Pepper Lou, which forever will follow you.
Yeah.
Icy Hot down there on the end.
man.
These are just,
Yeah.
I think they're fun. Is there a best nickname and a worst nickname that you can remember?
I definitely have the worst.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Fine.
I don't too much care for mine either.
Nah, I don't. Yeah, mine isn't great at all. Yeah.
Really? You guys, nobody likes their nickname?
Nah.
There.
I've had a couple that were decent.
Okay, give me the ones you
But
do
the,
like.
the icy hot one, I definitely hated that one.
Okay, we hate Icy Hot. We're not going to call you that ever again. Which one do you like?
When I was with Lakers, Deadshot was one. I mean, Green Ranger. Everybody goes by like your Instagram tag.
Yeah.
We talked about Kelly Oubre earlier. He had the Tsunami Poppy situation. So most people go by the Instagram tag,
Yeah.
which isn't bad.
Villain, obviously Dylan Brooks. That one's
Yeah,
good,
Dylan the
self-appointed.
Villain.
You hate Lemon Pepper Lou?
Yeah.
It doesn't represent a great thing.
Yeah,
think
It
That's right.
represents a time in the bubble where things didn't go well.
I think it's legendary, quite frankly.
it's legendary.
All right. Well, who is somebody who has a nickname out there? It could be an old one too, that really stands out.
Ooh.
I like the Slim Reaper for Kevin Durant.
That's a good one.
I thought that was.
Ooh.
I really like Slim Reaper.
Yeah, Reaper's good.
Yeah, very fitting.
There's one that comes to mind, the best one I like, but people don't know about it. I used to call this player, DeLon Wright, I used to call him Frozone.
Frozone?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I like that.
If you see him and look at him
Oh
and
my
how
God.
he used to play,
That's hilarious.
yeah, he would like ice skate on the like he
That's
always
hilarious.
I like that actually.
strides he had strides and
Where's Shams? Because I feel like we need a good one for Shams too. Although the internet has given him some Shams.
G, to follow
The
up,
uneasy
you guys
laugh.
went 3-1. You guys went 3-1 in group play. You guys didn't advance in the in-season tournament, but I'm sure you wanted that $500K. So how disappointing was that? And how bad did you guys want that money?
I mean, yeah, it was frustrating when you saw how we were playing the last game against Atlanta, trying to beat the point spread. It makes you, wish you could go back into games 1 or 2 when you had a team down 20 and the coach subs in, and you give up the lead. So,
Don't get in
it's just
trouble,
a whole
George.
different. Yeah. I'm just being completely honest. I mean,
That's making trouble.
you're just you're trying to get to the point where you could play in Vegas for a lot of money, and the point differential thing kind of makes it hard to adjust, right? You're so used to, preserving your superstars and, not trying to, overwork them. But at the end of the day, you need to get to a certain point amount, especially if you've lost games early in group play.
So if there's one thing you could change about the tournament, sorry, Shams, to cut you off, what would you change, George?
I mean, I think through group play and everything like that, it's actually been pretty smooth. There wouldn't really be anything that I would change it. Maybe, give 6 teams in each conference so we can get a chance at this money. But other than that, I thought it was pretty smooth. I think they did a great job, especially for just, I don't want to say coming out of nowhere because we've heard about it for a couple of years now, but I thought it was pretty, well run. Some of the courts were pretty hilarious. I thought it was a good
It's a
job.
good way to describe it.
Yeah, G, in that Hawks game, the Hawks pulled their starters down 20. You guys left your guys in trying to get that point differential. Was that awkward for you? Were you guys uncomfortable?
Heck no, it wasn't awkward. I thought that if someone's going to give you an opportunity to continue to beat them, you want to take that opportunity, especially, with the point differential. It made you think back, to whether, like I said, whether it was Detroit or whether, we could have had a better ending to the Indiana game where do you not foul and just play it out and only lose, if you're going to lose by 4 rather than fouling and lose by 6. It just adds a whole different dynamic and excitement, and I can't wait to see what this week does, definitely with the games tonight and then in Vegas.
The courts thing, I know it seems like such a stupid topic, but it is a topic that comes up every time.
We can't help it.
I know, as the viewer, that's all we see. But as a player, I mean, does it bother you guys at all? Has it been just sort of something to laugh about?
The Indiana one, I thought we were playing the Indiana Cookie Monsters because that was the craziest court I've ever seen, and that was our first look at it. But some of them, I don't even know who's, like usually when I turn on the TV, I can see who's playing, but some of the courts, I have no idea who's playing.
Ooh, that one.
But I think it was a good switch up, and at least, the fans know that, the game is meaningful when that court is on. It's a in-season game, and I think the NBA did a really good job. And obviously there's room to grow, but I think this is a great, head start on this.
G, you played 2 seasons in Philly. What was your favorite part about playing for the Sixers?
You can never underestimate being able to, go out there with some of the 2 best players, to ever play this game when you say, Joel and James. And then obviously, the type of fan support, what if I was good, bad, or indifferent, they're going to let you hear about it. Danny can attest to that too. And then, just being surrounded by, a solid group. I mean, you had young talent with Tyrese, DeAnthony, even Paul Reed is, up and coming, so just being surrounded by, those guys playing in Philly was great for me. It jolted my career to a new spot, and now I'm enjoying my time in Cleveland.
It's crazy. Didn't mention me. Didn't mention playing with me, George. That's crazy.
Yeah, no,
I thought you were going to say the best
that.
times I had was playing with Danny. And,
I didn't want to do that because then people are going to be like, this guy's fake, and that's not me.
It's not real.
We appreciate your genuine
So
answer.
honest.
But
I know Danny can speak to it as well.
Throw the ball to you in the corner, and it was a 3.
Yeah, man. We had
There you
great
go.
times together.
Dead shot.
Yeah.
Green Ranger.
I'd love to hear both of you guys talk about the Philly fans, though. How do those fans compare to Cleveland fans? Danny was just in Cleveland. How do they compare to Jazz fans? Like, George, how do Sixers fans really compare to those fans?
I'll tell you a story. When I first got to Philly, I think it was a preseason game, and I pump faked and dribbled to the side and dribbled off my foot, and it went out of bounds. And there was some dude in the stands that was like, "What the? We didn't bring you football. Shoot the ball." And I was like, "Wow, this just got real."
Different worlds.
They are one of a kind. There are no fans like them in the world, but you gotta love them. And they have gotten better over the years. I will say that. My first stint was rough, but over the years they have gotten a lot better, and they've become more welcoming to the teams and have chosen different routes instead of booing us at times when they could have booed us.
I appreciate the Philly fan. I'm actually glad that I spent my first 8 years in Philly because it taught me tough skin.
Tough.
It gave me an opportunity to learn what the NBA is really like. Very tough fan base, but I tell you what, you do your part, you will forever be legendary in Philadelphia. I've actually been in a restaurant after a loss, and they walk over to your table like, what are you doing? Like, go home. Y'all just got beat, bro. Like, why are you outside?
Eat?
Yeah, like, you shouldn't be human.
You should not eat
but
after a loss.
That's the type of fan base they are, but if you do your job, man, they will love you forever. So I can attest to the Philly fans.
I mean, if you watched the Eagles game yesterday, they're crazy. You and Joel Embiid are close, but when you first got to Philly, he said, I used to think he sucked. How did you win him over?
Dang, what is this, a roast? My goodness.
Just good information.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you know Joel wants to be surrounded by guys that, you know how to play and can keep their defenders out of his way. So after making a couple threes, I think, you know, I gained his trust, and we had a real good relationship from there on out, you know. I think Joel puts a lot of pressure on himself to be great, so he expects it, you know, out of everybody else on the court. And I don't want to say I was lucky enough because I work at it, but if you can make enough shots and keep guys out of his way, you know, he'll trust you. I know Danny can attest to that. He'll even walk up to you, I think, after you miss a shot and be like, I need you to make that three. I need you to make.
Nah, I think that's Joel's take on everybody when they first get there.
Really?
And then if you make a couple shots, he will start to like you. And he will put some pressure on you to make some shots. The first thing he'll say to you, you make shots, you stay on the team.
No pressure.
You also went to his wedding this summer, and I'm sure it was a beautiful ceremony. It was very classy, very nice, but you got to tell me about the after parties, man. What was the wildest thing you experienced at the after party?
Wow, you know, there's some things we'll keep disclosed, but, you know, for the most part, I mean, at the after party, I remember I was listening, you know, to Brian McKnight, and I was recording, you know, Joel and his wife, and I'm like, dang, this is, and I zoom in, I'm like, holy smokes, that's Brian McKnight. he was actually at the wedding. I was like, I don't really do a bunch of cool stuff like that, so that was probably, you know, the coolest part. And then to see, you know, all the coaches and people that I've impacted, you know, Joel's life, you know, from Bill Self, Arn Tellem, you know, Leon Rose, all those guys. You know, it's amazing that Joel still keeps the, you know, those contacts, and they care deeply about him.
We know how he is as a competitor. What's he like to party with?
You know, I don't think he does it often, but when he does, he
does it big.
He does it like the MVP, that's for sure.
Gee, this is the second time you're playing with Donovan Mitchell. How has he improved since those Utah days, and what have you seen in his growth?
You know, I think the biggest thing is when Donovan was in Utah, I think he was just so athletic. He'd get anywhere on the floor and do whatever he wanted. I think now he really realizes where his spots are and has really turned into an elite, you know, three-point maker, whether it's contested, wide open, catch and shoot. He's really turned into an elite, you know, three-point maker, and I think he knows where he wants to get on the court, where Utah was kind of like figuring out where I could get. I think he knows his spots and where he wants to get. And I think he's ultimately, you know, grown in the point guard position, whether it's getting his teammates involved early so that late in the games he can take over. And he does an elite job at that.
Was your familiarity with Don the reason why you chose to go to Cleveland? Was it one of the reasons why you chose to go there?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, I think when you leave a place like Philadelphia, you want to go somewhere where you ultimately can feel comfortable and, you know what you're getting yourself into. And Cleveland definitely, you know, offered that up. You know, and then another thing that was exciting for me is they have such a young core group that, you know, obviously I want to win, but they've proven that they can, you know, win and get to the playoffs. And I want to see how long they can drag this thing out, and signing a 3-year deal, knowing that there's a young core here that, you know, we will have a chance to be good for a long time.
George, I want to just apologize ahead of time. I feel like I'm getting the bad questions for you today, but here we go.
It's all right.
Is it true that DeMarcus Cousins once called you a Teletubby?
Oh yeah, you heard about that.
Why am I getting all these awful questions?
You know, I thought you actually liked me, but you know.
I do. I don't know how we got here.
We have bad rapport, but it's cool.
It's cool.
Shut up, Lou. Yeah, like I mean, the trash talk, it's fun, but Teletubby?
No, I mean, you know, I think Lou and Danny can attest. There's some stuff that, you know, that just gets said on the court, and he wasn't playing, was with the Warriors. I think it was like my second or third year in the league. Nobody had heard about me. I'm a, you know, well-proportioned.
It's a great way to put it, George. Well-proportioned.
Yeah, and I was out there and I missed a shot, and I think he wanted to, like, you know, rattle my confidence, and so that's what he was saying. Let me tell you this. I was avoiding that corner by the Warriors bench like the plague, though. I was playing my guy.
So it worked.
Corner.
Yeah, Udoka. Has anyone ever said anything, called you anything, and this for all you guys, that made you actually laugh?
Yes, for sure, 100%.
Really?
There's a lot of things.
Oh,
George is
Danny.
called.
Danny's a culprit of this too, and now that we're teammates, he's a snake. When we were in the bubble, he used to run up and down the court, and the whole Lakers bench would be calling me like Baby Duds, Baby Jared Dudley.
We used to call him Baby Duds, Baby Jared Dudley. When I was in Philly, we used to call him, but we were teammates, so we didn't ever tell the other team, but we would make fun of him, call him some funny names. I won't put it out there because people might start trolling you on the internet. But we had some good funny names for George.
I like
some from Sesame Street.
I mean, that's cute. Oh no.
Some characters from the Sesame Street.
That is bad.
Yeah.
Do you do homework? I mean, to try to. In the past, there have been some good moments from certain guys that they did a little homework and they dug extra deep. Do you guys do that when you come up with
No,
trash?
I'm not one of those trash talkers. We have a couple guys come through the past that done homework, but we weren't with those type of trash
that
talkers.
deep.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. By the way, George, I am sorry. I really had so many nice questions to ask you about your hobbies and things you like to do, and then I just got the roast question.
Yeah, we put her up to it.
Forgive us.
Oh no, I'm sure Danny would probably had you do something like that. But next time, make sure you get some good ones.
We appreciate
Talk
the
about my
time.
personality.
By the way, good luck the rest of the way. We appreciate the time. Thank you so
George,
much.
before you go, she had one more for you.
I mean, the last one, I'm so glad we didn't get to. So
We're out of time.
Really?
we are out of time. Gilbert Arenas, not this time, buddy. You're not getting us. Thank you so much.
Good luck, Brody.
Running back returns.
Appreciate you guys.
Run it up, run it back, 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 run it up.
Very impressive.
Very serious moment right here. Cam Johnson.
Ooh, Carolina legs.
Good morning. I like those jerseys. I didn't even know what team that was at first.
Cam gets one of these once a year, man. It's crazy. Because back in Carolina, I think his first couple of years, he was still trying to get healthy. And I'd never seen him do that in college. But he's doing it
Cam.
at this level.
I feel like those jerseys remind me of the opening credits to Fresh Prince.
I can see where you're going with that. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Bump it.
Trey Murphy.
Anytime, never leave your feet,
take off.
Troy.
Ooh, I like
Just
that
got your man's dunked on.
Oh my goodness, that angle's awesome.
He's going to be
that's a good
special. I like his game. I like this kid. He's going to be really good one day.
That must be so fun.
Trey Murphy.
Welcome back.
Good Lord. All right,
Tween
Paolo.
tween. Skip
Oh, my
LA.
goodness. Wow, okay. That was just I'm going through you.
That's just man to man right
Yeah,
there.
he barely made moves. He's just
Yeah.
like, I'm going to run straight through the lane, get out the way, excuse me.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Oh, it's the same game. They was above the rim in this game.
Yeah, this game was fun.
Orlando's been playing really well,
money's
too. Orlando, one of the top defenses in the league.
Orlando's kind of fun. All right, here you go. That's the thing.
Damn, Chet. He looked at Chet and said, all right, and you know what?
Who's that? Derek Lively?
Yep. He didn't even think twice. He looked at Chet.
With the pump, too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Oh, Mark Cuban in the back.
Yeah, he's Mark Chase.
Slicker and one,
It's always
too.
funny to watch these and
that's
see
a and
different
one.
reactions.
That's my favorite sometimes, actually. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
my
we know
God.
things
That's
are-
nasty.
It didn't even look like he was about to take. Oh,
Chest
yeah.
to chest.
I like that.
Kessler tried to get out of there. Tried to run
man.
out. He's tried to
take the ball
he's
out
trying to get
quick.
his exit. Like he's trying to run to the bench to get out.
That's pretty fun.
Oh, man.
It's not, yeah. Last but not least, the kids.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is disrespectful.
Let me see.
It's
this
pretty
again.
smart, though.
Yeah, it is smart, but it's
That's
disrespectful.
a heads up. Who thinks of that, though? Not once has that crossed my mind.
What the? What?
But you could have a referee that might, you know, be a
He might, yeah.
he might be a
ref-
prick and just still say it's off you. You know?
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Even though it's
Keep
perfectly
watching.
legal.
Yeah.
And then his smile.
Shout out to this young kid, man. That's a heads-up play right there. Who knows,
Going
man?
to Missouri next
Yeah,
season.
maybe they're a better half-court team. They wanted to slow the
He
ball.
just started a new trend for today's game.
Gosh, he's so young.
Definitely started a trend.
Okay, that was pretty fun. We're gonna take a quick break here. We come back a little bit more, run it back on a Monday morning.
The run it back, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, the run it back.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go. Time to put on your
Some
convincing
convincing.
caps.
Here we go.
First up, Danny, convince me there should be no fouls called in the final 2 minutes of a game.
So my imagery that I have for these last 2 minutes of the game is like 21.
Oh.
When guy has 20 points and you don't want him to score the last basket. So the final 2 minutes of the game would be like that. Where there's no fouls called. You know, there's a lot of havoc, kind of like the purge.
Yes.
You know, of basketball. Last 2 minutes, a free for all, where you can see real guys get to it and see who's really strong enough to flex on somebody when they get a basket.
I'm convinced.
Because if you can get a basket while you're getting fouled like that in the last 2 minutes of the game, you have the right to flex on people.
I like the basketball purge idea. All right, Lou, convince me when a player fouls out, that team should not be able to replace him.
I'm gonna convince you guys that this rule should take place only in the fourth quarter.
Oh.
So once it get down to the nitty-gritty and teams are not usually subbing anyways, if you foul out, we're playing 5-on-4 going down the court. I'm gonna say under 4 minutes, you can't replace a player.
Okay.
I like that.
Soccer-esque.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't hate it. All right, Danny, convince me the NBA should have a 4-point shot, but only in the fourth quarter.
I mean, I love it. You know, I'm a three-point shooter. The more points, the better. Obviously, make it a little bit further distance, and it makes the game more exciting, more entertaining. So if a team is down 8 with, you know, a minute to go, they have a really good chance at making it
Heck yeah.
interesting. So I think that we've seen something like this in China, and I think we can kind of bring it to our league at some point in the near future.
I like it. Lou, you like that one?
I'm messing with
Okay,
it.
we're doing that.
Almost
We're doing
cursed.
Fair, it would have worked. Convince me teams would be better off without coaches.
It's a free-for-all. Just let everybody do what they want to do. No structure, no nothing. Let's just see who's really the best of the best. Because coaches really put some players in a position to be successful by their
Let's
coaches.
see who really has an IQ.
So let's see who really has an IQ, who can really hoop. No coaches.
I mean, the leaders would really show themselves as well.
For sure.
And if you don't have a leader on your team, that's going to get awkward. Danny, convince me players should call their own foul.
This is tough because there's going to be a lot of bickering. It might not get a lot of basketball if you got guys calling their own calls at the end of the game or during the whole game. But I think for entertainment purposes, the fans love it. People argue. People love tussle. People love debates.
I love
I think this creates a lot more debates on the court.
Be some long-ass games.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Lou, convince me the Bucks could beat the Pistons with a randomly selected fan from the crowd.
I'm going against the grain. The Bucks can absolutely not beat the Pistons with any
Disrespectful.
random. You know, we have this thing. If
Disrespectful.
the worst NBA player that you can think of, if he goes to LA Fitness, he's going to run the gym.
Yep. Yeah.
No random fan can get out there. So no,
Could be a ringer in the random fan.
we'd have to have
It's
it.
a 0.011% chance.
It
of that.
really is.
Yeah.
That's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow. Danny's here all week.
Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.